Your morning blitz begins now.
Get that chance. Go play for a national championship. We're going to swing as hard as we possibly can. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
On the Blitz.
Just after 6 a.m. on a Wednesday. Welcome in to the Morning Blitz. Lewis, Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn.
You guys, I have a rental car right
I
now.
saw that.
Yeah, okay.
Nice. Saw that.
Yeah, it's a
Toyota.
Toyota Corolla Cross.
Yeah.
All right. So I drive a 2015 Mazda CX-5. This thing's, not a new car.
Right.
I love it. I cannot wait for it to be fixed. I absolutely love my vehicle. All right. But it's not new. It doesn't have all the new features and all that. All right, so this Toyota Corolla Cross, I get in this morning. I didn't drive it around yesterday. I picked it up, brought it home. That's it. All right, tell me why. This thing, first of all, is putting on the brights without me doing anything. All right, I don't like that. Let me control the brights. I don't need my car controlling the brights.
AI.
Number 2, the lane tracing assist.
What?
I don't need this. So I'm driving, and it basically, if I take my hands off the wheel, this MFer will drive on its own.
What?
And stay in the lanes.
Okay, what's the problem?
Yeah, you don't like that?
I don't like it because I want control of my vehicle, and I don't like that it's pulling me over. Like
Maybe it's going, look, this chick's already hit multiple things. Maybe I should just take over.
But
maybe the rental car company, maybe Hertz, put that in there.
Does it only do that if you take your hands off the wheel?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's helping, like if it feels like you're drifting or something, it'll pull you back in the lane. You can turn it off somehow, I just don't know how yet, and I didn't want to mess with that while I was driving.
Did you ever try to change lanes and it try to pull you back or anything?
Yes, if you're not using your turn signal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now the only reason I know that is because I was on 670 getting off on 33 here to come to work. And I didn't use my turn signal to get off on the ramp, but I did have to cross a lane, or at least a partial lane. And I don't know how to describe it, but it did try to pull me back.
What?
And it was like, you're out of the lane, you're out of the lane. It gives you like an alert. And I'm like, bro, I do not need this. It was the weirdest driving experience, and it was very unsettling because and I'm glad nobody else was on the road, but I did attempt to, I tried out this lane tracing assist. It's pretty cool. But
Nice.
it probably will let me do it for about 6 to 8 seconds, and then it says, lane tracing assist unavailable in a few miles. Please put your hands back on the wheel.
Doug said you can turn that stuff off. He doesn't like it.
Yeah, yeah. I know you can. I just didn't know how to mess with it. I didn't want to mess with it while I was driving.
Oh, no.
I didn't like it. I need full control of my own vehicle.
So, rental cars, and when you get in a strange vehicle, that is a weird vibe. I had my parents were coming in. I took my stepdad and the boy in our house to Michigan, Ohio State in Michigan, pre-pandemic. This is 2019. So for some reason, I had my rental car set up in Indianapolis because I was working there. And my original plan was, because I had to get the kids to Michigan, I had my stepdad and all his luggage. My original plan was pick my stepdad up in Indianapolis. I'll rent a car at the Indy airport, get my stepdad, drive back to Ohio, take my stepdad back when he flies back. Oh, no. That didn't work for my mom. So my mom changes the flight plan of my stepdad to not land in Indianapolis and changes it to Cincinnati. So I had to go rent a car there instead at that airport. The only thing they had left, because it was Thanksgiving weekend, I asked for an SUV or something similar. I walk out, there's a blue Volkswagen Beetlebug.
Oh, you're so lucky.
No, I'm not. So I walk back, I'm like, this must be a mistake, right? Dude's like, this is all we got left. I'm like, awesome. So I get in this thing. Anytime I hit 70, beep, 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 it's like an alert.
Oh, you're speeding?
Yeah, you're speeding. Like when you go over 70, it does that. And I'm like, after like the third or fourth time, I'm like, I know!
Why didn't you like the Volkswagen Beetle? Is it like a girl's car or something?
God.
Is it? Okay, I wonder.
Here's how to put it bad.
It's so cute.
We're driving to Michigan, and the young girl in the car is like, I used to want one of these until you rented this.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a crapshoot when it comes to the rental car system. But who knows? Maybe you found your next
I
car
don't
in the
know.
Mazda.
Trade ya. If you still had that Beetle, I'd trade ya.
No, you would not. All right. Morning Blitz trivia. Let's get into this today.
All right, waterbeds and stuff trip with $25 to the first person who can correctly tell us the answer at 99,700. There is an upcoming movie coming out Friday called The Thicket with Peter Dinklage. What rock star has a part in this movie? It's called The Thicket with Peter Dinklage. There's a huge rock star who has a part in the movie. Tell us who it is at 99,700. You'll get the gift card. We'll come back with a winner. And we've
Is
also
it Kip Winger?
No, it's not. I will tell you it is not Kip Winger. But we do also have Lincoln Park news about their upcoming announcement coming up next, too.
623 on the Morning Blitz. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick. I'm Lewis. Your Morning Blitz trivia question answer is...
Well, we asked the question, the new movie that's opening Friday called The Thicket with Peter Dinklage.
He played Tyrion Lannister.
Yes. There's a rock star who has a part in the movie. Who is that rock star?
It's not Kip Winger.
It is not Kip Winger. It is James Hetfield from Metallica. Told the Metallica Report podcast that it happened because Peter Dinklage simply reached out to him saying, hey, we got a part for you. Hetfield said he's not really into acting, but it was appealing because Dinklage and the director told him he could just be himself. And he said he has auditioned for films before, and it's just not his thing, but here he gets to just be himself. So.
Here's the thing. When somebody tells you, I don't know if you've ever done any type of anything, a commercial or anything like that, but even doing something where they're like, okay, we're going to film this, and Kelly, we just need you to walk normally down the hallway. I'm like, does my arm go with my leg or against my... I am so awkward on camera. It's crazy. So somebody's telling me that I can just be myself is not helpful. I'd be like, hard pass. I cannot be in your movie because I cannot be myself.
That's great.
Well, that's good.
You got to think that James Hetfield would be typecast, right? For a lot of reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he could be in, horror movies, any kind of Rob Zombie horror movie.
Sure,
I feel like
right.
he would be great at that. Like, he looks like a villain.
That's what I mean. He's going to be the bad guy. He's going to be the henchman. He's going to be the biker. Because James Hetfield's tall. People don't realize he's 6, I think, 2 or 3. Like, he's a tall dude.
Although I'm looking at some pictures of him smiling. He looks like a leading man.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things he could do. He would have fit perfectly in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But,
Again,
he
I
could
go
also
back to
be
what
a
I
cop.
said.
He could also be a cop,
I go back to what I said. James Hetfield would be a certain kind of typecast.
Right.
When it comes to movies.
Yeah. Justin Arrowwood from Waverly was the first one to text in the correct answer, so he's got $25 to waterbeds and stuff. So Lincoln Park fans around the world are going to see a live event in Los Angeles this week. As you suspected, Lewis, it will be on 9/5.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that's what the countdown was about?
Well, yeah, because
that applies to one state in the good old 50 United States of America?
No, the date. It was about the date. The clock counted down to 0, and then it counted back up, and when it got to 9:05, it stopped.
Okay.
And it shook right there on 9:05, so Lewis predicted that meant September 5th we were going to get an announcement, and that's when it's going to happen.
Oh, we don't know what the announcement is.
No, we don't know what the announcement is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought okay.
No.
I thought it was a concert announcement.
It will happen on YouTube. And that clock is basically the placeholder for this live stream. That will happen tomorrow at 6 p.m. So we don't know what it is, but yeah, tomorrow, 6 p.m. on their YouTube page, we're going to get some sort of an announcement.
And then you guys will let me know, right? There's no way I'm paying attention to this. You'll let me know.
You're not gonna pay attention?
No.
Not into this, huh?
Not paying attention to that?
I dropped, and as soon as they started the upward climb of the clock, I dropped out.
You were done.
She no longer pays attention to the lines on the road anymore either. She doesn't have to.
No, wait. Maybe you could get a countdown assist put in your new vehicle. That way.
I'm looking to turn all that stuff off.
Yeah,
I want to be in control of my own vehicle. Even if I'm not a good driver, let me not be a good driver. Don't pull me back into the lanes. All right?
If you weren't listening a few minutes ago, Kelly's in a rental car that has this. What did you call it? How did you refer to that?
It is a line tracing assist.
Line tracing.
So,
and you said it automatically turns your brights on?
Oh yeah, there's also a thing where if it's dark and I just have my regular headlights on, it'll put the brights on for me.
Roger said the button for the auto bright should be on a panel where the trunk release gas release are at.
Okay, yeah, I can't do any of that right now, but I will definitely before I pull out of the parking lot. Fixing all of that.
Why don't you get on your phone and call us? We're live on the radio while you're messing around with your vehicle.
Guys, you're the car guy, Lewis. Will you just come out there during a break and fix it for me?
Hold on, I'm the YouTube car guy. There's a difference.
Okay, that's fine. I accept that.
He's just going to jump on YouTube to find out how to do it.
Exactly. I'm going to watch a video and then go out there and make this happen.
Just get it done. If you could get it done, I'd be forever grateful.
You know what? Now, just because of the way you worded that, I feel like I have to.
Yeah, I feel like you do too. You're going to look like a real D-bag if you don't.
Do it yourself. I'm over here watching cat videos right now.
Steven says, my wife has a brand new CX-30 Mazda, and it has all of that and even more. If you set the cruise control, it's got a radar-guided cruise, and it will literally follow the vehicle in front of you and match their speed. It also has a hologram on the windshield, which is actually pretty neat.
Hot take, and no car, and at no point in my life have I ever used cruise control.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
I use it every day.
Really?
That's the first thing I did as I looked at where's the cruise control on this vehicle, this rental vehicle. I used it this morning.
Never once in my life.
Really?
Here's the reason I do is because I speed so easily and I don't even know I'm doing it that I've been pulled over multiple times, as we know. And I don't need that in my life. So I use cruise control to set it at the speed limit, maybe a couple miles over, and that's it. Take care of it. I don't have to worry about it. But you don't, eh?
No, never.
No. You got to be able to pop up to about 85 when necessary. I gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay, hold on. Jay, you got to be joking. Jay says, I've got lane assist. I keep it on all the way into Marysville. I'll hop in the back and get a quick yoga session in. No.
Well, you really can't on this one because it keeps telling me like I said, I take my hands off the wheel for about 6 seconds. It'll even take a curve for me. I tested it out this morning. It was wild. However, literally within 6 seconds or so, it tells me get my hands back on the wheel because lane assist is not available, in the next mile or so.
Trashman Dave's agreed with you all the way, Kelly, on having control. He says, I want the right to hit someone head on whenever I want.
Yes. Give me full control of my vehicle back.
This is like, what is it, like iRobot and Demolition Man where the car auto drives?
Right.
And then you got to turn it off? Yeah, I don't. Although there are some people that I think should take care of the auto drive and use it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Another text says, Kelly car's perfect for drunk driving.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm sure it would be helpful in that.
When does that come into play?
Uh-huh.
When does that come into play?
Yep.
Hey, I'm intoxicated, but I'm not driving. My car is. Seriously?
Yeah, it's happening right before our very eyes. All of this.
Yeah.
Everything we've ever seen in movies in the past is happening. That's why I always bring up movie stuff, Kelly. Because it always happens.
You'll put Uber out of business if that's the case.
Uber's the one that's going to run it all. What are you talking about?
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
All right, it's Dick, Kelly, and Lewis, 641. Who wants to go first?
I will.
Okay.
I've got something. Arguably one of the greatest rock guitarists in history, Brian May, lost use of his left arm last week when he had a stroke, you guys. He posted a video on Instagram last night. Let me play a little bit of it for you.
Hi, folks. I hope you're all well out there. I'm here to bring you, first of all, some good news, I think. The good news is that I can play guitar after the events of the last few days. And I say this because it was in some doubt, because that little health hiccup that I mentioned happened about a week ago. And what they called it was a minor stroke. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I didn't have any control of this arm. So it's a little scary, I have to say. I had the most fantastic care and attention from Frimley Hospital where I went. Blue lights flashing a lot, very exciting. I might post you a video if you like. I didn't want to say anything at the time because I didn't want anything surrounding it. I really don't want sympathy. Please don't do that because it will clutter up my inbox. And I hate that. So, good news is I'm okay.
So, I mean, that is, in the end, good news. This guy, you'll probably remember this, Thick, because we talked about it back in 2020. Do you remember Brian May ripped his butt muscle while gardening?
Yes.
And then he had a heart attack after that.
It was a rough stretch.
Yeah, a rough May of 2020 for Brian May, but he came through it, and now he's come through a minor stroke. So thank God.
He's indestructible.
He may be. I hope he is, because we need more. Well, have you guys seen Queen with Adam Lambert?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
What was the experience?
I think Adam Lambert fits pretty well with Queen, but the only thing about that, and I said the same thing, do you remember when they used to do that show Rockstar? Yeah. And they had Rockstar NXS, and then you had like that super group that never had anything with Newstead and Gilby Clark and a bunch of other people. My only thing was they chose these kids, essentially, as singers, and it always looked like somebody's son playing with their dad or grandpa's garage band.
So he looks out of place.
He looks out of place because the rest of Queen are, what, in their 70s or 80s?
Well, John Deacon will not play with Queen. He dropped out. He's like, no Freddie, no John Deacon. So he won't play. They replaced him with somebody.
And while I do think Adam Lambert has that sense of flamboyance and everything else, and there's a Queen documentary about this. It's actually a pretty good watch. To me, it still comes across as like this kid playing Freddie Mercury. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like Freddie Mercury. There's one. I would argue he may be on the list of irreplaceable frontmen just because
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus,
I think they wanted somebody young who had the energy and could be that front guy.
What have I said about Stone Temple Pilots all the time? Jeff Goot looks like he's trying to be Scott Weiland.
Yeah.
And that always to me comes across as it's Etsy. Or it's, I wanted Lucky Charms, but my parents got me Magic Stars. Like, that's, you know what I mean? That's kind of what it comes across as. It's not bad, and it's fun to hear those songs because they're recognizable, but it's not the same thing.
Right.
It's Etsy. I like that. That's a great way to phrase it.
It is. Got the discount version of whatever. And again, I think Jeff Goot's problem is, dude, stop with the vests and the tie and the jacket and trying to look like Scott Weiland. You are making it far worse than it has to be. You could just come out there in, a t-shirt or whatever and be normal and sing those songs, and it would probably play better than, you bleached your hair blonde.
Right.
Oh, you're wearing the vest and the tie like Scott Weiland would. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you're not Scott Weiland. So don't be the discount Magic Stars version. All right, who's next? That took way out there.
I've got something.
Go ahead.
Kelly's not gonna like it. She's gonna hate this. So I'm just gonna play the promo for the new podcast.
She's literally doing anything to stay relevant.
Does anyone actually give a f*** about her?
We made the wrong person famous.
Your 15 minutes are up.
Your joke was funny for 2 days. Stop.
Y'all really thought I was done? I'm just getting started, baby. It smells warm. F*** you.
Yeah.
What's one move in bed that makes a girl go crazy? I'm Haley Welch. A little while ago, my life took a complete left turn and it changed forever. And along the way, I've realized that everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Well, now, it's my time to talk. And Pookie.
Who is Pookie? Who's Pookie?
You may stop by, too. Check out my podcast every week, Talk to Them, where I'm sitting down with the coolest guests and having actual conversations with them. You listen to us every week! Subscribe to that thing!
Talk to her.
Okay.
By the way, the guy that said, "Who's Pookie?" is Jake Paul.
Yeah.
He's going to be a guest, and his media company, BETR, is producing the podcast. Her first guest will be Whitney Cummings, comedian.
Wow, that's a pretty hard-hitting first guess.
Yeah.
For the record, she did not continue to make herself famous. Everybody else continued to make herself famous.
Well, you got to try something. You got to try to stay out there and relevant. Make your money.
Right.
Make your money while you can. I'm all for it.
All right.
I won't listen, but yes.
I got something. There's a company in Thailand that's offering workers paid Tinder leave to go on dates.
Wait.
It's a marketing agency announced it's giving its workers time to go off on paid dates, and it's paid out like annual sick leave. So allows employees to explore dating options, and that will be in place from July until December of this year. So you can basically take leave to go on a date with someone. If someone invites you on a couple of day excursion, you can get paid to go through this company.
So it's like, swipe my name, I'll get a day off work.
Right.
Really?
I don't understand. It's a particular company that's offering their employees this leave. Why?
They think that if you're in a happy relationship, it will bleed into work, and you will have a happy work-life balance.
I kind of like that. That's sort of sweet. I think you have to have a limit.
Yeah.
But
you're really good looking, so you're never at work.
Yeah.
Nobody ever. I just want one person to swipe the right way.
I haven't seen freaking Blondie in about 4 months.
Right? Well, a lot of dates and getting paid for it. Anyway. The Morning Blitz, 6:51 with Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, and Lewis. Good morning. It is, what are we looking at today? Hot, I believe. Up into the, 86. Clear tonight, down to 57. Tomorrow, 89. So we're back into that warm second summer weather. If you're inclined to get outside and enjoy it. Jelly Roll is making the news.
He is.
And I like it.
Well, he has a hotel hack. He was interviewed by Hotels.com, and he talked about some hotel experience that he had on, all the years he's been touring. This is what he had to say.
In our early touring days, we would be so broke that we would sleep in our van outside of like a Hampton Inn. And then when they did the continental breakfast in the morning, we would wake up and walk in there. And we would just like walk by the desk and laugh. We'd be like, all right, man, I'll see you in the room in a second. I'm going to grab a muffin. And then we would all just rush into the continental breakfast and eat. This is how we lived for like 3 years on tour.
I wish they would call continental breakfast what it actually is.
A muffin.
No. Vending machines without the vending machine. Because that's really all you get.
It's better than nothing.
That's the tagline. Continental breakfast. It's better than nothing.
I kind of like a continental breakfast. I must say.
Really?
Yes, that's a feature for me. Give me a continental breakfast. I'll take it.
All right, it's continental breakfast time. Need you to go over there and open all those little Debbie pastries and set them out.
I mean, I don't need a big breakfast. Just a little something. Something and a little swig of orange juice. I'm good.
That's fine.
Some of them are really lame, though. You would see that in the ads. Comes with free continental breakfast. I'm like, is that supposed to excite me, really? But they asked George Kittle, who is the tight end for the San Francisco 49ers, who he thought should play the Super Bowl halftime show in a half a second, just as confidently as could be. He said, Jelly Roll.
He would be... I'm Jelly Roll and Post Malone, and I say that because both of those guys work with all different kinds of... I mean, how cool would it be in the Super Bowl if Post Malone did it, and even though he wouldn't appear because of health reasons, what if you got Ozzy on the screen doing his part of...
Oh, yeah.
What was their song you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
It was the one good part of the Crow trailer, was that clip of that song. But if you had that... you know what I mean? Yeah. You could have that, but I mean, they cross musical genres. You could have a rocker out there. You could have a hip-hop guy. You could have a country guy out there.
Well, they specifically broke it down to it would be perfect if it was Jelly Roll, because he can also do one of his rock songs, have Lainey Wilson and Eminem.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Because, he did a song with Eminem and with Lainey.
Hopefully give Lainey a couple of cheeseburgers so she counteracts that Ozempic and her ass comes back for the big performance.
Now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
Apparently, Columbus City Schools has decided it's not going to provide transportation to some charter school and private school kids in the district, even though state law requires it. Days before the start of this school year, the district notified some charter and private school families that transportation would not be available this year to their children because it was impractical. The district said instead it would provide free COTA passes or work out some kind of a payment to parents in lieu of transportation. But Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost says you can't do that. You can't do it. You can't just arbitrarily stop following the law. So he has sent a cease and desist to Columbus City Schools saying you need to start providing transportation to these hundreds of students ASAP or face a lawsuit from the state.
Where my bus at? Where my bus at? I just need a way to school, so where my bus at? Where my bus at? So where my bus at? I need transportation too, so where my bus at?
So breaking the law.
That's just kind of weird. You're like, you know what? Nah, we're just not going to follow that part of the law anymore. Figure it out, parents. All right, DirecTV customers who are stuck without ESPN and other Disney-owned channels can receive a credit if you request it. Disney Entertainment channels went dark on DirecTV Sunday night after the two were unable to reach a new carriage agreement during a busy sports weekend. People were upset about it. So if you want a credit, you do need to go to directv.com/tvpromise and put in your info. And if you're eligible for that credit, it will be applied to your next bill. If you don't fill out that little form or whatever, you're not going to get the credit.
So what happened?
I guess ESPN, all the Disney-owned channels went dark on DirecTV. And so...
It's the time of year where they can't work out a deal. So
Yeah.
they
okay.
year.
Yeah.
All right, and so they're still dark.
Yes.
Okay, it's one of those, yeah.
So
I don't know.
it happens every year. And next will be the CBS Viacom stations. It's just like clockwork.
Right. But this time they're giving you a credit, which I think is nice.
Yeah, I haven't seen this happen yet with any of the networks on YouTube TV. I imagine at some point it will, but it hasn't happened yet.
Let me tell you about this viral TikTok trend. It was over the weekend. I could tell you I saw 50 videos about this. And people are really in trouble over it now. Apparently, some younger people who don't understand banking decided that Chase Bank there was, I guess, a glitch at Chase Bank where what you could do was write yourself a check from your own account for a large amount of money. Doesn't matter. You have $20 in your checking account. Write yourself a check for $500. Deposit that bad boy. They'll let you get half of that back in cash immediately. You don't have the money. You don't have the funds to cover it. But these people are showing their TikToks where they're like, watch this. I can put in a check for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and I can get a portion of that instantly back in cash, even if I don't have that amount in my account. That is called check fraud.
Right.
It's not a glitch.
Right. And it will catch up with you.
Absolutely. Well, probably within 24 hours, you are seeing that you have negative balance now. So yeah, you can get charged for that. That's no glitch. That is absolute, normal, everyday, average American check fraud. And you should definitely not do that. In fact, Chase Bank says, we'll figure it out quickly. So we're recommending that you do not partake in this viral TikTok challenge.
Remember yesterday, I believe my final thought of the day was stop looking at TikTok thinking you've discovered new things.
Yeah.
It's just funny to see an 18-year-old go, guess what? There's a glitch at the bank, and I got free money.
There's a new thing on TikTok. Yesterday, this was my thought of the day, by the way. There's a new thing on TikTok now where the young version of people are figuring out what rucking is. Do you know what that is?
I don't.
Well, that's where you fill a backpack full of heavy stuff and you walk with it or run with it to add weight to your workout. Okay. Like it's some brand new thing that nobody's been doing for the last 7,500,000 years plus.
Well, I didn't know what it was, so, I mean, it's useful to me.
So you've never heard of adding weight to yourself while you're...
I didn't know it was called rucking.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a backpack full of weight, which has been the military's been doing it since the military was conceived.
Well, all right, Mr. Know-It-all, settle down over there.
Well, I mean, he's right, though. I mean, we've been using different weight to walk with.
So young people aren't allowed to discover things? Is
they
that
think
what we're
it's
saying?
brand new. They discover it.
I know they're not allowed to find out something and then post about it because you've known about it for 20 years. They're not allowed to find out about it.
Brand new,
right?
Oh, you guys are so arrogant. I can't take it. Now,
no, but that's like
Kelly
that's like
her
me.
TikTok crowd.
That's like me changing my oil and going, "Hey, here's a life hack. There's this new thing called changing your oil," and someone's going to look at me and go, "Hi, moron! They've been doing that for 50 plus years."
Yeah, maybe nobody would say that to you because you're young and you're just figuring out how to do it yourself.
It's not that you're discovering something new. It's that you're laying claim like this is like you just discovered Antarctica for the first time.
Here's the thing.
I'm going to put my flag in it.
You're the guy who's been listening to a band forever, and when somebody else discovers it and loves it, you hate that. You hate that because you've known about that band forever.
Not true. Not the same thing.
I've known about. Oh, you're so dumb. You've never heard of this band?
Not the same thing.
Yes,
but
it
is not.
No, it's not.
It's not the same thing.
You're so dumb. You've never heard about rucking. You're such an idiot.
Dumb.
No.
You are really dumb.
No, but when the Batman came out and Something in the Way all of a sudden was all over the place. Oh, can you play that new Nirvana? There hasn't been new Nirvana in 30-something years.
Yes, dummy.
Oh.
You don't know everything Lewis knows. How dare you?
Exactly. I do know this, though, if this is Florida or not. Let's see how Blitz Nation does on this one. Here's the headline. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Guy steals a car, drives it into a police station to ask for his drugs back. Florida or not? If you are still playing along with that Lincoln Park countdown, it's going to happen tomorrow at 6 p.m. They will let you know what's going on if you followed the countdown and now the count up. The answer tomorrow. It's 7:09 in the Morning Blitz with Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. As we're talking, Doug. Lewis, you shut your whore mouth when you're talking about TikTok around Kelly. Sorry.
Yeah, you little whore.
You are the defender of all things TikTok. Justin, Kelly's mad at the generation who's pissed off about Columbus stealing America is stealing things that we've been doing for years.
How about that?
Yeah.
Sorry, young people, you're not allowed to discover anything for yourself because Lewis already knows it.
You are allowed. You just can't claim it.
Susie
Nobody's
said,
claiming it like, hey, look at this. If I just do this, I can really easily change my oil. Just because you've known how to do it since you were 18 doesn't mean they're not allowed to make a video about it.
it's just the mindset. Anyway, Susie said, my daughter asked if I'd heard of a band called Deft Ones. And I was like, nope, never heard of him. So she played me a song, and it was the Deftones.
Oh, Deft Ones. Oh, my gosh.
That's
All
like
right.
that thing you do, the Wonders.
The Wonders? Yo-neaters.
Wonders.
No, it's the Wonders, the number Wonders. Anyway, so here's the questions. Guy steals a car and drives it to a police station to ask for his drugs back. Is it Florida or not?
It seems so obvious that it has to be Florida, but that makes me think it's not.
Wait, how is it obvious? Tell me, because I can't ever figure out any of these stories.
Just somebody driving into a police station with wanting their meth back.
This does have a little bit of a Florida stink on it. Let's
feels
just
like
be.
Florida, but I'm going to say it's not. I have no idea where, but it really does sound
You
like
have
a
to give
Florida
me
man.
some type of clue in the story.
All right. Our hero is Christopher Genzel. He's 24 years old, and he stole a car from a library parking lot last month. Okay? Now, some guy left his green 2023 Subaru Forester running, and Chris took off in it. But he didn't take it for a joyride. Oh, no. Our hero jumped in the car and drove it to a police station. And he went there for a good reason. He'd apparently had an earlier run-in with the police, and he wanted to ask them if he could get his drugs back. They didn't realize he was in a stolen car at that point, but they did moments later when they got a report that he just used it as his getaway car for another crime.
Where are my drugs at?
He tried to shoplift stuff from a nearby Target and was speeding off in the same green Subaru, so they tracked him down and arrested him. He's now facing 2 felony charges for unlawful taking and receiving of stolen property, plus a misdemeanor charge for an unauthorized use of a car. Florida or not. Mike said, sounds like a Pittsburgh fan. Somebody else said New York City. Donnie said, this is definitely a Florida thing. Cassandra said, this is Licking County. Someone else said, Dublin. Here we go. This happened in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia.
Oh, Philly. Okay, the other Florida.
The northern Florida. So, yeah. Don't steal the car to drive to the police station and ask for your drugs back. Stone Temple Pilots on the Morning Blitz. Good morning. It's Dick, Kelly, and Lewis. We'll see 86 in the sun today, so nice day to get outside and do something with your life.
51 right now.
A little chilly. It is there. So we've been talking a lot about teachers and back to school, and I'll tell you what, it's got to be nothing but respect for teachers, that's for sure. They do the Lord's work, and I think it's got to be harder and harder.
Take your kids off your hands for 7 hours.
Well, I just think now with social media and with the scrutiny and the lack of pay that's kind of always been there with teachers, it's got to be harder now than it ever has been in the past, I think, to be a teacher. Like, I really, truly believe that. Because,
everybody's real touchy now, too.
That's what I mean. You got to worry now about if you say the wrong thing in class, that kid's got a smartphone, and now what you said went viral.
They used to be able to beat the crap out of you if you missed,
Right?
if you did something wrong in school. Go to the principal's office and get freaking whacked with a wooden paddle.
I remember my school teachers, they weren't allowed to use them anymore, but they had their paddles like on their wall, like a sword collection.
Yeah. And I remember our vice principal in Hilliard had, this was when I was before I moved to Grove City, had holes in the paddle.
Yeah.
And it was on his wall.
Wind.
And my ass felt it twice.
Oh, really? So
Yes.
we were not allowed to have SWATs in school.
Oh.
But there were those teachers who had been there at the time when it was. And it was like dude had his armory.
Oh, yeah.
Like he had his rapier-style paddle for one kid, and then he had his battle axe that he had to get paddle.
Dude, I swear, he tried to lift me off the ground with that shot.
My sister's a science teacher in high school, regularly has kids saying F you, you can't effing tell me what to do. I mean, and she can't really do anything about it because in her state where she teaches, her administration doesn't really support punishing these kids who are expressing themselves with severe profanity against an adult.
Well, and that's probably part of why this letter was written. This was a letter to the editor from the Augusta Chronicle from Lisa Robertson, who is a teacher. She is retired, but she wrote the headline, "Parents Are the Problem." And then she wrote, "As a retired teacher, I am sick of people who know nothing about public schools or have not been in a classroom recently deciding how to fix our education system. The teachers are not the problem. Parents are the problem. They are not teaching their children manners, respect, or even a general knowledge of how to get along with others. The children come to school in shoes that cost more than the teacher's entire outfit, but they have no pencil or paper. Who provides them? The teachers often have to do that out of their own pockets. When you look at schools that are failing, look at the parents and students. Do parents come to parent nights? Do they talk with the teachers regularly? Do they make sure their children are prepared by having the necessary supplies? Do they make sure their children do their homework? Do they have working telephone numbers? Do the students take notes in class? Do they do their homework? Do the students listen in class? Or are they the source of class disruptions? When you look at these factors, you will see that it is not schools that are failing, but the parents. Teachers cannot do their jobs and the parents' jobs. Until parents step up and do their job, nothing is going to get better." And, you know, we talked about supplies. People were upset about school supplies. And Kelly, you mentioned it because somebody talked about paper and pens and pencils. We always had to provide our own paper and folders and pencils and, you know, notebooks and...
Right.
Always. That was never provided by the schools.
We had a school supply list, and you go buy the school supplies and come to school with them.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's all parents. I don't want to put everybody in that box. But I do agree. I think we've lived in a world now where it's even harder to keep up with the Joneses, and all parents do it. And I also feel for parents, too, having attempted to parent for the last 5 or 6 years. I do think that as a parent, you want your kids to have the things that you didn't have growing up. But I think that's multiplied somehow, and it's gotten to a point where now those kids expect that. And I don't think that's right.
Well, in terms of teachers and what you have to deal with in the classroom, I will say that maybe there are some issues with parents and the kids' preparedness to deal with other students and all that. But I will also say that even if you're a great parent, when kids get around each other, you know, I would say that I behaved in a way that would probably have embarrassed my parents because they didn't raise me that way. But you get around other kids and you start being an idiot. All right, so you've got that. I would go so far as to say part of the problem is if you are a teacher in a school district or a school building where your administration does not support your discipline.
Yeah.
That the principal or whoever's in charge there doesn't support you when you say this kid needs to be out of my class for the rest of the day today. And you've got to have a system in place that supports a teacher when they need to discipline children.
I will allow the hatred to come flowing my way for what I'm about to say. You can take this back and you can start this problem back to when you started giving your kids smartphones when they were in elementary school and middle school when they didn't need them. Oh, I need to connect with who? The only person you should be connecting to in the desk next to you. But you've given them an outlet to talk to other kids everywhere, and everybody's picked up everybody's bad behavior. And once again, like we've done with social media and everything else, you let your kids have Facebook, you let your kids have Snapchat, you've opened Pandora's box, and you can't close it. So guess what? Deal with it, because you created the problem. And it's going to get far worse before it ever gets better. Five-finger death punch. Wash it all away. 738. Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. If we could wash it all away, the social media, where would we be? That's a good question.
Well, you got a lot of agreement on text, Lewis, with your statement.
What is it? I'm the oldest young person you'll ever meet, according to Kelly.
Yes.
The oldest 40-year-old she's ever met.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. So many. Preach it, Lewis. Agree 100%, Lewis.
Yeah.
Non-stop. Just everybody agreeing with everything you said about social media.
I just think you somewhere along the way, you started giving kids more access than they should have and more power than they should have, and that's never going to go well. I mean, there are some kids that are mature enough to handle it. I won't put everybody in the same category, but the majority of people clearly cannot.
Joe Pa said, I'm a teacher in Morrow County and agree 100% with Lewis. Technology has become the babysitter. First and second graders have brand new smartphones nowadays.
Yeah, and for the parents that I want to be able to get a hold of my kids, 2 words, track phone.
Yeah. If you have to be able to reach them, they don't need to be on Facebook for you to reach them. Faith said, thank God someone said it. I've got an 8th grade boy who's going to be 14 this year, still no cell phone. We know when we do that we open Pandora's box, and I'm not ready for that yet.
Dustin agreed, said the downfall of society when they cutted the cord on the telephone. Yeah. I mean, the cordless phone in the house was nice. Being able to walk around without the cord was nice. It's when you let them go out of the house and into the car. And even the phone just in the car wasn't bad.
It's a slippery slope, Lewis.
It is. It is. Well, but I mean, you know what's funny? When you get older, you want to be young. Well, most of us. When we get older, we want to be younger again. But, like, why you want to get past your childhood and be, you know what I mean? Like, I still wish I could go back to the days where my only concern was, cool, are my friends going to be out at 10 in the morning when I'm out at 10 in the morning, or do I have to wait?
All right, you're talking as a middle-aged man, though, now, because when you're 10, 12, 14 years old, all you want to do is get your driver's license. You want permission to do more and more things.
That's what I just said.
Obviously. No, you said the opposite.
No, I did not. I said when we're older, we want to be younger, but once you get older, you just wish you could go back to be younger. But for some reason now, we want to get out of our childhood as fast as we can.
Yeah. Okay. I don't understand what just came out of your mouth.
You just said now we want to get out of our childhood as fast as we... Then we always did. Everybody always did.
Okay. I see
you
what
wanted
you're
to hit 16 because you were 16, and because you could get a driver's license. Then you wanted to be 18, then you were an adult. Then you wanted to be 21, and you could drink. Then you wanted 25, so you could get cheap car insurance.
What age would you stay? If you could stay for one age forever, what would you
I need the wisdom that I have today, or else I'll just pick today's age.
Really?
I'll pick my age right now. I've got to be able to have the wisdom that I have today if I were to go back and be younger. I don't want my younger years. I don't want my 20s or 30s without what I know today.
Yeah, I think if I could freeze right now.
Yeah, I would not relive that.
Oh, I would.
Being stupid.
I would.
Unless I can go back with the knowledge, and, you know, that old saying, what if you could go back in time and still know everything you know today? That'd be great. Then I would.
I love my age right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I love my age right now.
Now,
listen.
Love being young and stupid again.
Yeah.
Instead of old
Instead of just stupid. Yeah. 30.
Yeah.
Let me stay 30 forever. It's a good age.
Yeah.
Still hip, still with it. You know why 30? Because your body doesn't do the system check at 30 when you get up in the morning. Everything going to work? Okay.
This is true.
You know, those kind of things. So, 1914, teachers had some rules that they had to follow.
This is amazing. This list of rules is unbelievable to me. I had no idea. There's definitely been some progress when you think about women. Just in general, you know, it took them a while to get to vote and all that stuff. But to see how women were treated, you want me to start? If you'd like to, go for it.
Just keep in mind, if you ever saw Little House on the Prairie, keep in mind Miss Beadle, because that's what this applies to. The Miss Beadle back in 1914. These are the kind of rules that you had when you were in that era.
And we are getting some texts about the thing we were talking about with cell phones. I will say this, there are some teachers at blame, because I know for a fact the kids' school that we had, they had a no cell phone policy, but teachers were having the kids use their cell phones for homework assignments and stuff in class. So that's on you when you start doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But speaking of teacher rules, who's going first on this bad boy?
First one, female teachers must not marry. If a woman teacher got married, she had to resign from her job. Teaching was seen as a profession for single women, and marriage was thought to interfere with their dedication.
Plus, if you're married, you can't hook up with kids in your class.
Oh, my gosh.
What? You see that all the time now, too. I'm talking high school level, not elementary. Head out of the gutter. We're not condoning any of that. Male teachers were expected to maintain a dignified and professional demeanor at all times, avoiding public displays of affection or frivolous behavior.
Don't be found out to be a player.
Right?
All right, teachers must be in their homes between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. unless attending school functions. Teachers were expected to maintain a strict daily schedule, reflecting their role as moral exemplars in the community.
Oh. Wow, 8 to 6, you're not allowed out of the house. You have that's crazy,
man. I love that. I love that. Oh, that is me.
It's great.
Should have been a teacher in 1914.
Yes.
It's 5:30. We should start getting home.
Teachers were prohibited from engaging in activities deemed improper or indulgent, such as smoking, drinking alcohol, or even visiting places like ice cream parlors, dance halls, or swimming pools, which were seen as potentially corrupting. An ice cream parlor is corrupting?
Yeah.
Wow.
Rocky, they don't call it Rocky Road for nothing. Female teachers could not ride in a carriage or automobile alone with any man except their father or brother in order to preserve their reputation.
Oh my gosh.
This is like Sharia law.
I know. This is crazy. You can't. It's got to be your dad or your brother. Oh my gosh.
Female teachers were required to wear dresses that covered the body completely, often with hems well below the knee and high necklines. They were also expected to avoid bright colors or extravagant accessories.
That was I'd say that applied to the student girls too, didn't it?
Oh.
Didn't they have like dress codes with like how high their dress could be and all that kind of stuff for a long time?
Definitely.
I don't know. Just think of the bonnets. You got to have a bonnet. You've got a dress code.
There's a few more of me. I believe the school this teacher was taught and also outlawed dancing until Kevin Bacon came along. But we'll get into that after Fuel with Metallica on the Blitz. It's Metallica on the Blitz. Good morning, 7:50 with Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. Before we get back into these teacher rules, tons of texts on the wall on the subject this morning. Someone said, I saw it in South Carolina in the late 90s. There were districts that made you sign a contract to not drink in that county.
If you were a teacher?
Yeah.
Oh,
to be
wow.
fair, there were still segregated proms in some of those districts at the same time in 99.
Oh, geez.
That's insane.
So we're reading rules for teachers from 1914. The next one says teachers were often responsible for maintaining the cleanliness of the schoolhouse. This involves sweeping floors, cleaning blackboards, and dusting the furniture.
All right, well, we're talking about a one-room schoolhouse. I think they can handle
Oh,
that.
they were, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mrs. McGillicuddy.
Yeah, it's
back
not
there
like-
teaching Spanky and Alfalfa.
Yeah.
You know.
It's not like you got the whole high school campus that
Right.
you got to worry about.
Yeah, old poor Miss Morgan has to clean
Right.
hallway B and
Right. The auditorium that seats 3,000.
Yeah.
Teachers, especially women, were expected to manage their finances prudently. They were often discouraged from borrowing money or accruing debt.
Wow.
Female teachers were required to live in designated boarding houses or with families approved by the school board. They were often not allowed to live independently, especially if they were single, which they were because you required them to be single.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to marry, but they had with families approved.
Or a boarding house.
But wait a minute. Families approved by the school board. You have your family. There's no, I have to change families. The school board doesn't approve. I mean, what do you...
That one's not morally acceptable.
Jeez. All right. And then finally here, the curriculum was strictly controlled with an emphasis on reading, writing, arithmetic, and moral instruction.
Yep.
Teachers were expected to be obedient to school authorities. They were never to question the curriculum, policies, or school administration decisions.
Wow.
Yeah, don't disagree with Big Brother there. And get this. Teachers were expected to instill discipline and obedience in their students. You can't do that today. Parents will freak out on you.
That's for sure.
No, I mean, when they say instill discipline, I think they mean like studying, disciplining your time, use of time, and how that you obey your elders.
Yeah.
You
That's
teach
what I'm
them
saying.
that.
But you tell a kid that today, and he's like, you can't tell me what to do.
Right. Yep.
Well, you're right. You're right. It's a different time, isn't it?
It
In
is.
some ways, it's good that we're beyond this.
Jason wrote text, and he says, I got paddled twice before I hit second grade. The third time they called my dad, he left work to come paddle my ass himself. That was a game changer. I woke up in a corner and never got paddled again.
Yeah, I think it depends on what kind of parenting you had, too. Like, I remember, like, when I was a kid and I did bad things, man, it was like, beat him. Don't kill him, but beat him. And that's all changed. But I also grew up in the neighborhood, too, where, like, if I did something wrong, the whole damn neighborhood knew about it. And if I went outside to play, I could tell, like, I was doing the play of shame because they were all looking at me like, we know what you did. Little criminal.
Oh my gosh. Trucker Tim said, I was the last kid spanked by a paddle in Waverly City Schools in third grade. It was optional for parents to consent to up until then. I came in the next day and they announced it was not a thing anymore.
Oh, wait. So his parents opted in to the paddling.
Yes. Yeah,
Your
they
parents
consented.
you.
And that's good. That's what they need to do.
You watch your dad walking. Yeah, you got a policy here where you beat. Sorry, wrong word. You discipline my kids. Yeah, I want to opt in on that. Hit them.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
By the way, the nostalgia is returning to our schools in the form of Bic pens, TI calculators, Trapper Keepers are popular this year. All that stuff's coming back. And clothing wise, sweatpants and denim are back.
Nice.
I guess that's a big thing now. Everybody's coming in sweatpants to school.
Talked about what age we would want to stay at during this whole thing, and you guys want to stay your age now. I'd like to go back to 30. Kerry said he'd like to go back if he could take a sports almanac with him. Kerry, you got that all wrong. You got to follow the Thick Rick plan where you go back to 1950 and you bring a sports almanac back with you.
Never going to let it go, are you?
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
Ballot drop boxes in Ohio can only be used to submit your own early absentee ballots for the 2024 general election. A new directive issued by Secretary of State Frank LaRose says if you are returning a completed ballot on behalf of someone else, which you are legally allowed to do for a close relative, you have to either mail in that ballot or go inside the elections office where you have to sign a form saying you are not committing election falsification by turning in this ballot. There will be signs posted at every Ohio ballot drop-off alerting users of this new policy. Now, early in-person and absentee voting will start on October 8th. You can request an absentee ballot today, and the Secretary of State's office will put it in the mail October 8th. New research suggests Ozempic is not linked to increased rates of depression or suicide. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania studied data from over 3,000 people who used the weight loss drug and diabetes drug found in Ozempic and also Wegovy, who did not have a major mental health condition, and this did not complicate any rates of depression or suicide. So that is great news. I also read another study this morning that said that Ozempic and Wegovy basically improve your mortality rates, especially when you lose weight from heart conditions and things like that. Like it obviously, helps you when you lose weight to be healthier cardiovascularly. So anyway, I don't know, man. Sounds like a nice option for people. Morteza Merzad is a standout star at the Paralympics, and he is not hard to spot in a crowd. He's 8'1". 8'1". Do you hear me?
Wow.
He is a sitting volleyball player. He is the second tallest man in the world and the tallest Paralympian ever. He has no bed to sleep in Paris, so he sleeps on the floor. Now, he was in the Tokyo Paralympics and had a custom-made bed, but not this time for some reason. Don't know why. He sleeps on the floor. Guy's apparently super easygoing. He has a condition called acromegaly. It's a condition caused by excessive growth hormone. And the issue with him and the reason he is in the Paralympics is because The growth of his right leg slowed down after he was injured in a bicycle accident when he was 15 years old. So his right leg is 6 inches shorter than his left leg. Now that's half a foot shorter.
Yeah.
But he is a great Paralympian. He's helped Iran reach the semifinals in its quest for a third straight gold in sitting volleyball. I did not know there was a sport called sitting volleyball.
Well, when you're 8
It's
feet.
wild. No, I mean for any athlete. There is a sitting volley. This like USA Volleyball has a sitting volleyball division where you play sitting down.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Wheelchairs, right? They're like wheelchairs, though.
These guys are sitting on the floor. I'm sitting on the ground. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I don't know. I'm going to have to look more into it. But
world?
I don't know. It's been part of the Paralympic Games since 1980. So let me look at more. Now, the little video I saw just showed them all sitting on the ground or on the floor or whatever it was, but maybe there is like a wheelchair division where they would be sitting in the wheelchairs. But yeah, anyway, those are your 3 things.
AC/DC on the Morning Blitz. 8:09, Pitt, Kelly, Lewis, sunny, 86 today. Not a bad Wednesday in Central Ohio.
Am I overdosing myself? Because I need some ibuprofen and I always take 3.
3. That's light
one.
for me.
Is that light for you?
Yeah, I always feel like that dosage thing is just a suggestion.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, I'm supposed to only take 2, but I
2
always
at a time?
take 3.
Yeah, 4.
4?
Double
really?
up. Absolutely. If I have a headache, 4.
Okay.
Don't exceed this amount in 6 hours. Yeah, whatever.
Well, I've got
Actually,
a
that's
headache.
a terrible way to be, and I'm probably like not safe by saying that. So follow the recommended dosage on the bottle. It's there for a reason.
All right.
Hey, man, you just take it till it stops hurting. That's the way I thought.
What was that sleep thing they tried to push for a while before they determined that sleep helps were bad? You know, the commercial always had that, like, butterfly thing floating around, the glowing butterfly. Like, I'd sleep a lot better if that thing would get out of my room.
From the sleep drugs?
Yeah,
or
remember
whatever?
until Heath Ledger died, they used to push all those ambient, all those sleep drugs. And then when Heath Ledger died from the cocktail and mixing all that, all of a sudden they stopped.
Remember all the sleep eating people were doing? Like they woke up and they had like peanut butter smeared all over their face and they're like apparently eating peanut butter sandwiches at 1 a.m. without knowing it.
Because they were so out of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
I woke up with that half-eaten sandwich in my bed.
Oh, my God. What did I do last night? So Alice Cooper played a show in Detroit the other night at the Pine Knob Music Theater.
Lita Strauss was there.
Oh, really?
She plays with us.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so she is still playing with him. Well, another girl jumped up on stage with them to play bass, and it was Susie Quattro.
No kidding.
It was Susie
Quattro.
Yeah. Now, you may not remember Susie from her music career. She did have a number 4 hit in 1979. It was called Stumbling In that she did with Chris Norman. She also had a couple albums, and again, she played bass. But most people will remember her as Leather Tuscadero on Happy Days.
Heck yeah.
Leather Tuscadero was on. I did not, I remember when I watched it, I had no idea. I thought she was just some actress. I didn't know she was really a bass player when I watched that show.
Yeah, Fonzie's girlfriend was Pinky Tuscadero.
Yeah, that was her little sister.
And her sister was Leather Tuscadero.
Leather was definitely the hotter one.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, by far.
Okay.
Yeah. As a young boy, I was definitely more into Leather than Pinky.
Gotcha.
Kelly, when it comes to your ibuprofen, Brandy says 4E small equal 1 ibuprofen 800 from a prescription, so you're good.
Right. Yeah, because if you get, some sort of procedure done and they give you that extra strength ibuprofen, it's 800 milligrams. The ones you're taking are just 200.
Okay, thank you, Brandy. I feel so much better. I'm not overdosing myself on ibuprofen. I don't want to end up with spleen problems later or whatever you get from taking too much ibuprofen.
Brandy also takes Ambien.
Oh, is that right? How's that 1 a.m. eating going, Brandy?
Isn't that what got Roseanne canceled?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She said, I took Ambien and I didn't know what I was
tweeting.
saying.
Yes.
Careful there.
Nothing more on the Morning Blitz, 8:23. It's Dick, Kelly, and Lewis.
You all right over there? You just
No.
slammed your knee into the wall.
I did, and this is going to make it really hard to chase kids off my lawn later today. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I mean, that hurt. Like, I really put a lot of force into that.
Oh, we heard the yelp.
Well, he said, I'll be right back. And he ran out the door, and we heard him smack it and yell, and he turned around, come back, and he goes, well, that slowed me down.
Oh.
I'm
You gonna be
sorry.
all right? I don't know yet. It could require surgery.
Sorry, Gramps.
Thank you. I'll just rub some dirt on it and get back in here.
At least you didn't get stung by a scorpion.
This is true. You guys ever encountered scorpions?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Oh, you've been to Arizona a lot. Is that where?
I've been to Arizona, yes, several times.
Yep.
And one time in specific, there was one in the my bedroom, on the floor, alive. Yeah, it freaked me out. It freaked me out, and it wasn't a big one. It was a small scorpion, but I'm like, man, I am not looking to get stung.
Oh, my gosh.
It's 119 degrees here. That's the last thing I need to get stung by a scorpion on top of the heat.
Yeah, we got attacked by 2 giant ones once. Thankfully, we were all carrying swords at the time and managed to fight them off. To get back to the city and save the princess.
Stop. All right.
It's from Clash of the Titans.
Yes,
Cal.
I know.
Classic movie.
Yes. Great one.
No, but I too encountered scorpions in Arizona. They're all over the place. They have warning signs and everything else.
Yeah.
If you go hiking, it's a big deal.
Like, watch your shoes if you're in
Yeah.
a hotel. Like, don't just stick your foot in your shoe with all that kind of confidence.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Shake out your shoe.
Yep.
And also your pillows and pillowcases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they obviously didn't have a warning at the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas over the Christmas holiday this past year, where a guy from California was staying on vacation. He was sleeping in the Palazzo Tower when he was stung by a scorpion while he was asleep.
Yeah.
This thing didn't just sting him; it stung him on his junk, on his
come
balls.
on.
No, it did. Here's a and now there's a lawsuit. Here's a news report.
Michael Farchi says he stayed at the Palazzo over the Christmas holiday. According to these court documents, he's alleging he was stung by a poisonous scorpion on his testicles, and it's impacted his sex life.
In many respects, my family, my work, everything.
I can also indicate, as you saw in the complaint, we're also making a claim for loss of consortium for Mr. Farchi's wife.
Meaning that his wife is making legal claims that their sex life hasn't been the same since the sting.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Who are we suing now? We're suing Mother Nature?
Well, I think they're suing the resort.
Oh, for not keeping out a natural occurring bug?
Yeah.
In a tower? I don't know. Well,
yeah,
I don't know.
mean, literally, I was in a hotel room and there was a scorpion on the floor. It just happens. I don't know that you can blame anybody for it. I mean, they come up through the
just get
air
in.
conditioning
Yeah,
system
yeah.
and all that.
I don't know.
Look,
I mean, you can sue anybody. Doesn't mean they're going to win.
I feel for it. This guy used to come home and lay it down. Now he's coming home and laying down.
Oh.
I mean,
How about that? All that real estate on a human body and the scorpion chose the nuts.
Right?
Why is that?
Do you want to... Hey, honey, do you want to get it on? No, can you get me some ice for my balls, please?
These nuts.
Right. You know what it reminded me of?
Hand me that pack of frozen peas. It'll do.
You guys have seen...
Maybe the wife put him up to it.
Maybe.
She planted it in the bed.
You've got 6 kids. I'm sick of
See
this.
how a woman thinks? You see that, Lewis? You see how a woman thinks? My wife's at home going, yeah, you tell him, Kelly. But you guys have seen We're the Millers, right?
Yes.
With Kenny? Remember he got bit by the spider, right? Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm gonna die.
Kenny, listen to me. Hey, calm down, all right? You're not gonna die. Will you tell us what the hell's going on?
Just tell us what happened. Spider bit me, David.
What? Where? Where did it happen?
Bit me on my balls. On my balls. On my balls.
Let me see it. Kenny, let me see it.
You're not seeing it.
Kenny, come on. I can't help you unless you show it to me. Please, sweetie, just show it to me.
What does it look like? I can't look. Is it bad?
Hey, listen to me. It's not that bad.
Dude, it's really bad.
No.
Have you seen what
I'm
you're
not gonna
telling me?
look at it.
You're going to a hospital.
What? No.
Are you? Oh my
Let's
God.
go. Rub some dirt on. Let's get back in here.
I can't feel my bingo.
Kenny is fine.
Oh, no regrets.
Regrets. No regrets.
Just rub some dirt on it and let's go.
The best scene in that movie is the cop. I prefer the comforts of a man and not a woman. Can't get out there. But I'm not gay. Are you sure? $8:37 on the Morning Blitz. Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train with Fit Kelly and Lewis. And that was a song you were listening for Avatar tickets. Congratulations.
That would be Brian Eisnagel from Stoutsville.
Nice job, Brian.
Avatar.
Good show. Next week. Blitz Therapy. Brought to you by Tri-State Men's Health. If you're feeling a little sluggish in the afternoon, dudes, trust me, I got my testosterone checked. It was an absolute game changer. I would recommend you do the same thing. And the good thing is Tri-State Men's Health has 6 locations, including 2 here in Columbus. And the best part about that is Hilliard and Westerville. You can give them a call. You can find them online at tristatemenshealth.com and let the professionals help you out. Don't wait when you have stuff like this happen. Their number, in case you need it, 800-900-9654.
Guys, we got a great email from Stephanie in Newark. All right, I'm really interested to hear what you think about this. All right, here, Stephanie writes, okay, guys, my problem is my 43-year-old husband and his mullet. And I don't mean it's just a little long in the back. His hair flows like a waterfall off the back of his head.
That's awesome.
We have our 25th high school reunion coming up, and I'm begging him to get a normal haircut. He says he'll just put on a baseball cap if his hair bothers me that much. Mullets belong on baseball players and 10-year-old boys. That's it. Do you think I'm asking too much for my little leaguer to look his best for the reunion? Signed, Stephanie in Newark.
Oh, my gosh.
This is on our Facebook wall, too. I just don't think she realizes what it takes to grow a head of hair that majestic. But
yeah? What do you think?
Waterfall off the back of his head.
You think she's asking too much for him to cut it? And
I don't know. You're the female. What do you think?
Well, my thought is, Stephanie, and I say this absolutely as gently as possible, you love your husband, all right? And that has got to include the mullet. Let him be who he is. You will be happier and he will be happier. Let it go. It's no reflection on you. It isn't you hate the mullet. That's fine. You let him be himself. It's so much more fun to hang out with couples when they both love each other and support each other and neither one is too controlling of the other. Like, you can tell that when there's just an easygoingness amongst couples. Like, this is my husband. He loves his mullet. What are you going to do? I love him. Isn't it wild? Look at this mullet. I mean, to me, that's a better move, to be super supportive and just be like, hey, what are you going to do? Am I right? We love our husbands. Rather than going, no, man, you need to cut that. You need to cut that. It looks dumb. I feel like that is, let him be who he is, Stephanie. That's what I would do. If my husband had a majestic mullet, I would let him. I wouldn't say a word about it. It's what he loves. Who cares? To me, it's a very, very easy solution. Just stop caring about it. That's my recommendation. If you can, let him be who he is.
Thick Rick.
Oh, I thought you had something to respond to.
Oh, I'm just taking it all in.
Well, it's tough because you're telling your husband that you are embarrassed by him. That's what you're saying to him. That you embarrass me because of your hair. I mean, did he have it when you met? You know, I mean, it sounds like you guys been together for a while. Did he grow it while you met? Did you disapprove of him growing it? It's just, I don't know, man. It's his hair. It's his style he likes to wear. And
I mean, we can't be that controlling over our partner's hair, can we? That'd be like your husband telling you, I don't like short hair on girls. You need to keep it long. Like, you probably hate that, right? You want to have the freedom to do with your hair what you want.
Unless it looks stupid.
But at the same time, though, I really, as far as my hair, whatever, my clothes, everything, I really only care what Heather thinks, my wife. She's the only one I have to impress. She's the only one that I need to be concerned about. So I don't know. It's kind of a tough situation, I think. But I'd hate for my wife to tell me something, the way I wear my hair or something embarrasses her.
I know, that feels so bad.
God,
just
right?
like you want them to be like happy, like just do you. I love you. You do you.
Because she's got like this most crazy thick hair, and I'm like, I know there are days she wishes she could just shave it off. I'm like, go ahead, I don't care. Whatever makes you happy and comfortable. So I don't know, it's tough.
Your hair's nice and long, but I really wish you looked like a young Halle Berry. Probably doesn't play well. All right.
I love her hair, but if she'd be more comfortable not having it, cut it short. I don't care. As long as she's happy.
You both are staring at me.
Well, because you have something to say.
I think you got to let it go. And for multiple reasons.
She needs to let the hair go, just let him have it? Is that what you're saying? Or he needs to cut it? Oh, okay.
Here's my thing. We live in a very judgmental world, whether you like it or not. So it's very easy for you as the individual to say, this is who I am, love me or hate me. But when you get in that relationship, all of a sudden, even though you do still need to remain an individual, you have to take into consideration that there are other people that are affected by your life choices. In this case, it's just a mullet, but you don't know what kind of crap the kids are taking at school because dad has a mullet. And all of a sudden, if she shows up at the office Christmas party with Billy Ray Cyrus in tow, then now all of a sudden, all the coworkers are, oh, that's the husband? You know what I mean? And again, it does cause some mental issues. It does cause a form of bullying that I'm not saying necessarily cut it, but you do need to be conscious of that. And also, again, coming from someone who, the first thing that happened in the pandemic is haircut places shut down. I guess they're called barber shops, but they all shut down. Everybody started growing their hair out, myself included. I had a long-ass head of hair, and at one point in time, I decided, because in college, I had bleach blonde Kurt Cobain hair. And you know what I said? It's time to go back there. You know what I realized? Sometimes your college game just doesn't transfer into the pros. And it just
that was your decision.
Correct.
Nobody told you.
Correct. Well,
to dye it back.
The girl at home was like, why did you decide to do that? And again, okay, cool. Like you said, Rick, my wife is the only, not that I'm married, but if you're in a relationship with that person, you do have to, there is a level of, you don't want to necessarily let yourself go to hell because you're in a relationship and they should love you anyway. You should respect them enough to go, you know what? I'm going to have 3 pieces of pizza instead of 4. I'm going to be conscious of certain things.
You want to look good for them.
Correct. And if the bleach blonde Kurt Cobain look doesn't impress her, then maybe it shouldn't impress you either. That's what I'm saying. And I know I'm about to get hated on, and I get that.
No, I guess my point is just like, it's not a big deal to let somebody be who they are.
I
and
agree.
If you're a mullet guy, like, you knew that, Stephanie, like, your husband's probably like, maybe he's just a freewheeling kind of fun person and he loves his mullet. What is the harm in letting him enjoy his own hair?
I agree with you 100%. I agree with this guy 100%. If you're single and want to grow a mullet, dude, you be you. But I think you do have, if you are in a family, if you do work, if you are married, or if you're in a serious relationship, there are things, whether you like it or not, you do have to start taking into account other people's feelings.
I disagree. I disagree with that. Oh.
Hello?
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I will.
We will get
Billy Ray Cyrus said to tell you to go F yourself.
I don't want to break his achy, breaky heart, but that might be a possibility. It's 8:50 on the Morning Blitz. Blitz therapy is happening, and we're talking about the mullet with Vic, Kelly, and Lewis. Kelly thinks he should grow the mullet. His wife thinks...
Just keep the mullet. I mean, Stephanie wants him to cut it for their class reunion because she's embarrassed of it. He loves his mullet. He's like, oh, well, I'll put it in a baseball cap if my hair bothers you that much. That's a nice compromise. Agree to the baseball cap if you hate it that much, I guess. But you gotta let your man be himself.
You can be yourself and still, but you can also, I think it's just, again, I'll put it in this. If I'm doing an event, like if I'm doing an event someplace, if I'm getting paid to do a corporate event someplace, there's a good chance I'll leave my long sleeves down to cover my arm sleeve tattoo because I'm reading the room. And I know that at that event, my tats aren't necessarily going to play well. So I will keep a long sleeve shirt on for that purpose.
Your choice.
My choice. That doesn't make me less of an individual. It just means I'm taking other people, and I'm not saying that I'm going to dress the way somebody tells me to dress, but I am going to read the situation and go, okay, what do I like more? Do I want my wife's approval more than I want my mullet? Again, do I want bleach blonde hair more than I want, someone to not always say, oh my God, I wish you'd do something with your hair? It is a personal choice. Serena said, you do not have to take other people's. And I said, yes, I'm not going to show up at the girls' corporate event wearing all spandex because I like the way it looks on my dad bod. It is. You do have to take other people in certain situations. Not every situation. But there are situations where other people's feelings do come into play.
Well, especially, it's a high school reunion. This is not a corporate event. This is some business meeting or make or break thing that's going to impact your income or anything. It's a high school reunion.
Oh, we are getting some great texts.
Yeah, we got some stuff on the wall, too.
Also, am I at a point where I don't care what somebody else has to say about my hair or my husband's hair? I do not care what anybody else's opinion is of that. That does not impact me in the least. You can think and say what you want about me and what I'm wearing or my hair. It doesn't matter to me. I could care less.
And Roger said, I think we spend too much time and energy worrying about what other people think about what we do, think, and look like.
That's very true, too. Joel sent us a fantastic picture of his hair. Rock it, Joel. You do you, buddy.
Yeah, see, look at that. This guy, he looks like he's a good time, doesn't he, Joel?
Yeah.
Don't you want to hang out with him just looking at his picture?
Absolutely, but
you're going to demand that he cut his hair?
No, I'm not, because I'm not dating Joel.
Joel, I hope you're married to an amazing woman or dating an amazing woman.
You can be married to an amazing woman. Again, it's certain situations. And again, every relationship has compromise. You can't.
I suppose, but isn't there a better hill to die on than somebody's hair? You're going to have problems.
I'm sorry, but anybody who says grow the mullet out there, you cannot tell me, unless of course you are 1,000% lying, that you have not compromised something for a relationship because you were in love or thought you were in love with someone. Anyone who says they've never made a compromise for that is a liar.
Of their hair, their hairstyle.
Anything.
That is silly. That's a silly hill to die on about what your hair looks like.
I'm not dying on the mullet hill.
Okay. Die on another hill. There are plenty of hills to die on in relationships.
Yes, there are.
Leave the hair go.
Steve,
that's nothing. That's a nothing.
Steve says $5 says all the other guys there will be impressed by the mullet. She's the problem.
I would be impressed by the mullet, too. It's not the mullet. It's the question. It's her asking. She wants. I don't know. I'm not going to win this fight, and that's fine.
Now, Derek says my friends that have kids in high school say the mullet is in.
Yeah, but they also think, carrying weight around when you walk is a new thing, so I wouldn't necessarily go by what they say.
Trashman Dave says, ain't no bitches wanting to be married to Boo Cyrus unless he's making Boo Cyrus money. Lewis thought Boo Cyrus was Boo Cyrus.
Wait, way to bring it back up. Yeah. Stick the knife in and turn
obviously it's never going to die. We're still getting texts about it.
The answer to the question, according to our Facebook wall, is the same as the question. Is he David Bowie? As that is the only person that would ever be able to rock that style of hair. Joe Dirt looked pretty good in his mullet.
Well, now this is interesting. Serena says you do not have to take other people's feelings into account when it comes to our own appearance.
I bet someone responded to her and said that maybe you do because you wouldn't necessarily want to wear spandex to your girl's corporate event because you like the way it looks on your dad bod.
Did you?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Okay.
I had to think about it for a second, but I did. Justin said, is she going to leave him over a haircut? Go ahead. Dodge that bullet, my guy.
Right. I guess if that's what she'll do, that's a good thing. I don't know.
Johnny says, my girlfriend is so supportive of me and my identity crisis. She doesn't care how I look as long as I like it. I love that.
Chris said, when my son was playing Pony League, he was crushing home runs and had an epic mullet. His girlfriend convinced him to cut it. The homers stopped. So I started calling him Delilah.
Samson, yeah, the strength was in his hair. Matt said, I've had the same skater hair since 2008. My girlfriend is not too fond of it anymore now that we're 30. I got it cut the shortest I've had since I was in middle school, and I didn't mind. It's long again now. though, but I'm down for another cut if she wants me to look more put together and not like an outdated child.
That's the thing, too. Again, this is why I say the circumstances are different. If you are a single guy and you don't have... You do you. But I do think you have to take into account, and again, job has a lot to do with it, too. If you are in a career you love and you can sport the mullet, good on you. But there are some places that go, hey, man, it's kind of like skinny jeans. If you're a dude and you weigh more than 145 pounds, skinny jeans should not be in your closet. Even if you're in a band, that's still a gray area.
My position, Stephanie, is that he's had this mullet for a while, and all of a sudden, when you're ready to go to your 25th high school reunion, you care about it. So I would question, you should question yourself as to why it bothers you to go to the reunion and see old classmates. Like, to me, it seems like you worried about what your high school friends are going to think. That, I would do some self-reflection on that.
Robin Seabus donates his hair, and he's got a good-looking head of hair.
This text from Josh is great. He says, imagine if the genders were reversed and he didn't like her hair and told her to cut it before he would take her to his reunion. How she would feel about that? Can you imagine? He said, let that man rock his mullet.
Yeah, but this isn't a practical world we live in. We're not allowed to say that as guys.
That's what he's saying.
And I agree with that 100% because a girl can say that, but if she says, and I've said this before, hey, do these pants make my butt look big? The response cannot be, it's not the pants.
Right. Eric says there will be bigger train wrecks at the reunion than his mullet. And that's true.
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
The Columbus Blue Jackets are hosting a candlelight vigil this evening for Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Fans invited to gather outside Nationwide Arena on Front Street, the plaza there, at 7:30 p.m. The brothers died in their home state of New Jersey last week after they were hit by a suspected drunk driver while they were riding bicycles. Johnny was beginning his 3rd season with the Blue Jackets. He started his decade-long NHL career with the Calgary Flames. Well, it's only September 4th, but some trees have started changing to fall colors early, you may have noticed. And that is because of the lack of rain. That's why we're getting early colors. Experts say the trees are changing because of the stress from the hot, dry conditions around central Ohio. Forecasters say many of Ohio's counties are in severe drought. This is the 3rd driest summer on record in Columbus. And in fact, the USDA Farm Service Agency has declared 22 Ohio counties natural disaster areas because of this ongoing drought. Those areas and the adjacent counties can receive emergency loans. Farmers can in those areas because of this drought. So it's a pretty serious business. I don't know how crunchy your lawn is, but it's pretty grim out there.
Yeah, I've watered twice in the last week, the whole thing.
Yep. Well, it's always hot this time of year in central Arizona, but 2024, imagine living in Phoenix. Oh my gosh.
It's hot. My
it's like
parents are there.
hell. It's like hell. This has been an endless summer, starting in May. They have had 100 straight days of at least 100 degrees in Phoenix. The record before that was 76 days in a row. They have blown by that record. That was set in 1993. So 100, as of yesterday, 100 degree temperatures for the last 100 days. There have been 37 nights in Phoenix this summer that did not cool off below 90 degrees. That's wild. You wake up as 90 degrees out in the morning. Crazy. So far this year in Phoenix, there have been 150 heat-related deaths confirmed, with another 443 under investigation. Hundreds of people dying of the heat in Phoenix. I couldn't do it. I couldn't live in Florida. It's too hot there. Give me where is it 65 all year round? 65. And don't tell me San Diego, it's too hot.
Yeah,
it's
no,
75.
It's 75 year round there. But that's better than 100 for 100 days.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I still think the Midwest is the best.
I love the change of seasons.
Yeah.
I will tell you. I do love it. I don't like the dead of winter and I don't like the heat of the summer, but I think it would be hard to live in just all sunshine and 75 all year round?
I'd be willing to try. Just
I would probably consider somewhere in North Carolina because you still get
nice.
a little bit of winter, but you get and a little bit of seasons, but they just don't last as long, and you get warmer weather for the most part.
Yeah, when I lived in Myrtle Beach, there was one day where it got down to 31 overnight. That was the coldest. It was in the middle of February.
Yeah.
It got down to 31 degrees.
But
was the low.
typically, you're in like the upper 40s and 50s through winter, which isn't bad. It's doable.
I'd like to live in like the Big Sur area. I think it's really nice there, temperature-wise. I think you get some rain, but clouds, I don't care. Monterey, oh my gosh, doesn't it look amazing there? Anyway, all right. Still, I'll take the change of seasons, though. It is beautiful. Ohio's gorgeous.
All right. Except for the gray
Sound like
season.
you need convincing.
Well, no, the gray season between January and the end of March, I could do without.
Okay, I misspoke. Gorgeous is a stretch, all right? But Ohio's great. I love Ohio.
Absolutely.
All right, those are your three things.